Hi everyone, how's it going? My name's Aureus and welcome to the first full video on the channel. For those that don't know me, I'm a mid-level competitive Splatoon player and I'm also an editor for some of the faces you might recognize above. Recently, I scrimmed against Loxyay, Chase247's team. So in this video, I thought I'd show some of the replays of the games whilst providing my thought process as a Stamper 1 trick. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to stick to content creation, but if people want to see more videos like this, then let me know by dropping a like and a sub, and if there's interest for more videos, then I'll do my best to put out more content. With all that being said, I hope you enjoy the video. I figured I'd mention that this scrim was done at 3 o'clock in the morning. Everyone that you see in this video is from North America and I'm the only European, so I'm a bit tired going into the scrim. Now where you open on this map depends on how you play. I like to play for pressure and there's not many things that can contest me other than the pencil who's farming for early cooler. So I like to put a lot of pressure on the right side. Our try is also called out that they're playing for early cooler and cooler comes out and the charger finds the pick, so I decide to push through right fast. Zword's really nice at just putting pressure since it's a pretty flat map and I end up finding the bucket for it. Here I saw crossfire on the pencil, so I assumed I was safe to move forward, but it was a bad judgment from my end. I end up jumping in and realizing that I just can't hold this position, so I have to back up. I go for the crab, and now I should have played my life, however I end up becoming greedy and the bucket kills me. When jumping in I can see the slider, so I know the Tetris is sharking left and I managed to catch him out. Here it's important that I stay alive because I'm not coolered and the enemy team is coolered. I end up backing up and playing my range. My intentions here were to zip and kill Pen, however the Tetra jumped in and managed to kill me instead. This was really bad because cooler just came out from our side and I should have been more patient. Here I tried to go down for the cooler, however the enemy team pops crab, but luckily I managed to find an angle on it and do chip to it and we end up taking out the splash, which opens up right side. And I'm able to here to trap off the pen, try to go for the bucket, but unfortunately the bucket gets away and our 52 dies, so I now know I need to play my life. A good advice on this map is if you see one long range weapon taking one side, then to move over to the other side. So here I try to take right, but unfortunately I get shocked out by the Tetris. I should have been smarter since the area was not painted in my color. I jump in to try and get the cooler, and I end up catching the bucket off guard. Now I know that we can play retake since we've got 2. I'm weak here, but I tell my team to push the bucket, which they do. And we end up finding 3 because of it. Now the pencil's forced to jump out and they have to regroup. I can't help my teammate here since they're too far in, and if I die, and if 2 of us die, it will give them a regroup for free. Unfortunately I end up zipping top right trying to kill pencil, but my timing was bad and so I die and end up trading the bucket. Unfortunately the bucket ends up getting 3, so I trade the bucket, so I play my range and wait for my team to come back. I pop zip to be a distraction and to maybe look for a pick or a jump, but unfortunately I whiff and I end up dying. I catch the bucket off guard here and use horizontal slashes to space and put pressure on the Tetra and end up getting the pick on him as well. Here I trade the splash, which is a good trade because now they're not going to have crab. Whilst you can play both sides on this map, personally I think right side is better because there's more cover that you can play to. Here there's not long left of the game, and so all we need to do is to stay alive and put pressure forward. We know that they have to drop onto zone and we end up getting the picks, and that's the game. My biggest weakness this game was zipcaster timings. I often popped them too early and ended up dying because of it, and I should have waited for the opponents to push in and then zipped. I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video, but the links for my teammates in this scrim will be in the description below. They're really good players and they were really fun to play with. The opponents switched to Forge, so just like when they were running Bucket, I need to be careful when jumping in so that I don't die to Booyah. For those that are interested in what gear build I'm using, I'll flash it on the screen, so feel free to pause the video if you want to have a look at it. I decide to open on the left. I don't do this against every comp, but since they don't have much AoE weapons, I can poke under the ledge quite freely. Cooler comes out and I want to put more pressure on the right side, so hopefully my team can get in. I end up crabbing as the Tetra flanks and I'm able to deal with the Tetra. Here I zip forward and end up finding 2, meaning that my team should be able to push in with this. Now I can abuse my range across the zone and we're able to clean up. I decide to opt back and focus on paint, which was a good call because unfortunately both of my teammates went down. Here I see pencils alone, so I try to go for a pick on them. But unfortunately I end up zipping the floor instead of the wall and I die to it. Crab Leg's a pretty open map, so when it comes to zip, you don't ever really want to zip the ground. I end up baiting the pencil top left so that the charger can kill them, and I miss input and unfortunately the Tetra kills me, but the charger is really good and kills them back. Here I grab Cooler and I'm prepared to drop into zone since the enemy team went 2 down. Here I don't want to directly take a fight, so I start playing ledge and just stalling out a fight so that my team can get in. I'm popping zip to try and go for the crab, and I end up getting the pick on the crab.
There is a fucking crab! Crab spotted! Crab spotted!
Someone called that was one of my recall, however, the charger was able to deal with it. I tried to go for top right fast, however, I didn't look forward and the pencil ends up taking me out. I should have thought about where the pencil was before taking that position, and I went too fast. Here Sword really wants to play top right, so I end up rotating top right, but I have to be careful because Pencil can challenge me. So I decide to drop for Cooler and fight on the left. Here I'm waiting for the opponents to drop, and luckily they do, and I'm able to play ledge here and find 2. I zip to try and get the pencils, thinking that they're alone, but unfortunately the Forge manages to kill me because I didn't realize he was there. Unfortunately, Booyah finds 2 and the enemy team are able to cap the zone. Here I have zip ready, so I try to zip front for my team to get a kill, but I get jump scared by the Tetra, and I end up accidentally trading them, which isn't a good trade. I should have spaced them more on Zipcaster. I should have killed the Tetra and Weave Slider end lag, but I end up whiffing. Here on retake I try to go top left a lot and play around the cover so that the pen doesn't have such a good angle on me. Because of this, I'm able to find an angle onto zone. And I pop zip to try and kill pencil or any of the jumps and end up finding 2 on zone instead. Now we're trying to push up fast since the enemy team has Reef Slider, and we need to push in front of that so that they can't slide a cheese zone. I trust that my teammates go top right, so I decide to poke on the left. In hindsight, I should have been the one to go top right since I have the most range and can play that position better. Unfortunately, our team ends up going down on top right and we're forced to drop. However, we get very lucky with the fact that ink mines are on the zone, and we're able to hold the zone with low penalty and win the game. Going into this game, I see that the enemy team has changed their comp to run Red Pencil, Zap and Squeezer. I need to respect the Squeezer more since it's a bit more scary to fight them Forge. I decide to drop left since this is normally how I open, and normally I'm not contested on left. However, this time the Squeezer decides to drop and they get a beam on me. I need to be careful because I made an assumption that they wouldn't fight me, however that's what ultimately caused me to die, and I shouldn't make assumptions like that based on no prior knowledge. Here I jump to Pencil and decide to drop and to grab Cooler. Realizing that I'm in a bad spot to fight Squeezer, I decide to rotate right and I find a pick on the Zap. I push forward to try and put myself in this corridor, which makes hitting 70s a lot easier. However, unfortunately the Squeezer's waiting for me and we end up trading out. I probably could have spaced the Squeezer better there. I pop Zip here because I know that they're probably going to have jumps to Pencil, and I end up getting the pick on the Tetras and I nearly find one on the Zap. However, these are two good picks which allow us to move forward. Unfortunately, the Squeezer pops Zuko and it manages to find two, but I end up trading them on the recall. Our try jumps up because they're close to Cooler and now we're forced to play regroup. I opt to drop left and go on a wide flank, which the enemy team wasn't expecting, and I find the pick on the Pencil and I'm able to flank onto zone. I rotate across zone to try and pinch with my team, but my team managed to clear up. I'm short and I can't grab Cooler, there we are. Here I'm poking onto Plat to see if I can help my team push through left. However, unfortunately, we quite quickly go 2 down. I pop Zip here to try and stall to allow my team to be able to regroup, and I nearly find a pick. I see that there's one on my recall and I manage to get the pick under them. Now I play under Plat and I'm able to pick off the Squeezer. I need to be careful when poking this pen, so I know that I hit 35 and I'm able to finish them off. I should have been more careful instead of just swimming forward because I wasn't anticipating jumps. Here we're 2 down and I decide to swim forward, which is a bad idea. I should have played back right and held space. I nearly get picked off by Squeezer, and because of my camera angle I'm not able to see that there's one on top mid and they drop me. Here I know that Cooler's coming out soon, so I'm able to grab Cooler, fight and kill the Squeezer on the right, which leaves right side open, and I'm able to look for a pick on the Zap who can't do much to outrange me. And I'm able to get 2. We get zone cap and I want to push Plat fast and I want to make use of the time that I have Cooler to maybe get a stagger pick. So I pop Zip to try and go for Zap, but I know that I need to play my life, and here I just stall and I nearly get a pick, but it's more important that I stay alive in this scenario so that we can play hold. Unfortunately here I whiff on the Squeezer. I probably could have got this pick, but I whiffed. Our charger's able to get us safe jumps and find 2 picks in the process, so with not long left of the game, I know that soon they need to start dropping. Here I poke onto Plat, the Squeezer drops, and eventually I get the kill, and just like that we win the game. My main mistake that game was assuming that no one would fight me on the left, as well as not being mindful as much of jumps. But overall, still a pretty solid game. Going into this game, the enemy team are running the same comp as they did last game, so there's not much to add that I haven't already added from last game. I decide to open up across mid and poke across zone because I know that only the Pencil can really threaten me. I end up hitting 70 on the squeezer, but I don't have an angle to finish it, so I back off, and I see that Pencil's poking left. So I try to go for a quick kill on the pen, but I should have left it to my 52, and because of that they're able to just run through zone because our Pencil's on top right, and 3 of us end up going down. I know that the enemy team is going to rush our Pencil, so I jump top right and I catch Squeezer off guard. I see another one pushing and I'm able to fight it with the Pencil, and the enemy team goes 2 down and 1 jumps out, so we kept zone. Here I zip top right because I see the Pencil's alone and I want to go for a stagger kill. I whiff a bit, but I end up finishing off the kill. I see that the enemy team has Zuka and Slider, so I back up a bit and try to respect it. But I tunnel vision on trying to kill the Zuka, and ultimately the Tetra takes me out. There I just shouldn't have tunneled. I jump in and I'm able to trade the Tetra, but we're already at disadvantage and this trade isn't good, especially since they're cooled. Here I see that there's no one on pit and I'm able to take an angle on right, which lets my team push through, and despite whiffing a bit, I'm able to put damage on the squeezer, as well as the zap across zone, and we end up getting a zone cap for free. I turn back to see if I have enough time to grab cooler, but it expires, so I take top left again and put pressure front. Once again I see the enemy Pencil left alone, so I try to get a pick on them, but they back up, and I whiff my zip because I meant to hit the back wall, and so I force recall. Here the squeezer pops Zuka, and I'm able to get a nice angle and take them out. However, my mistake here was not dropping left. I decided to jump forward and off the block, whereas I should have just swam and dropped into the pit and played ledge, and because of that the zap takes me out. It's a small movement thing, but I would have been able to most likely live. Here I see the Pencil alone, and because I'm cooled, I swim up and I melee them, and they pop Slider across zone. I whiff the timing on killing the Slider, and I put myself in a bad position, and I die to crossfire. I see that the enemy team haven't taken their top left yet, which is a very big power position on this map, so I'm able to jump in for free, walk forward, find a pick on the squeezer, kill the jump, and see that the zap is bottom left, and I'm able to get the pick on them. I decided not to go for the Pencil there because they're aiming across a narrow corridor, and since I was already weak, I'd probably get one tapped. But it was a nice triple. I see in front of me that the Squeezer's got Zuka and that they're heading top right, so I relay this information to my teammates, and we pop Zuka on the Squeezer top right. My teammate calls their weak and I finish them off with a burst bomb. Here I wanted to go for continuation, and I took a really tight angle trying to push their corridor, and that's what led to my death. In that position I needed to approach that from a wider angle so that the Tetra didn't get the jump on me. Here I jump in and I'm able to do chip damage to the Tetra, take the Squeezer out and do damage to the zap, in which my team are able to finish them off, and that right there is the game. Despite some whiffs, my zips were better that game. What I really needed to do was take better angles. This is probably my most dominant game of the scrim. We end up switching to Lita and Tri-Slosher, and the opponents switch to Forge and Splash. I know based on the Splash's gear build that they're going to be playing for early crab, as well as their comp since they need a way in. I open across mid and pre-fire a burst combo onto right since sometimes it finds something. It doesn't find anything, so I end up poking across zone until their crab comes out. Their crab comes out and I have a feeling that someone's going to flank, and they do, and I'm able to punish them for it. Now I know that right side is clear, and I can swim onto the ledge and play ledge. I do so, I get the pick on the Splash and the Tetra, and I'm able to camp the jump. I'll admit that the kill on the Tetra was lucky. I pop Zip to try and get my Twitter clip, but my team kills the Pencil, so rest in peace my quintuple, I will be forever sad. I jump to Pen since it's a nice shortcut onto zone, and the Forge makes the silly mistake of popping Booyah in front of a Stamper and an Elita, and it didn't turn out so well for them. Here I'm poking on the ledge. The Forge makes another mistake to peek a Stamper under the ledge, and they pay the price for it. I go back to grab Cooler, and I see that one's dropped left, and I take them out. I'll admit when watching this back, there was a better way to go about this fight. Dropping on the opponent like this is pretty risky since they can beam you, so I could have taken a wider angle and just played to space them and gotten the kill that way, but it worked out. VR comes out from their side and I do my best to shred it, but I'm not successful. So we're able to kill their Tetra, which stops them from being able to slider, and I find the pick on the pen, and that right there is game. The reason why that game was so fast and dominant was because the enemy team was split, and we were able to find multiple stagger picks on them. Pause. Now before I play out the rest of this game, I want to put out there that this was probably my worst game from the scrim, but I wanted to talk about it for that reason. With my channel, I want to be transparent and honest and show that no matter at what level you play at, if you're a competitive player or a casual, no one is always perfectly consistent. It's normal to have games where you don't perform to the standards that you want or set, and whilst not always the case, a lot of what you see when it comes to Splatoon videos or even videos or media online in general is often what people want you to see and often doesn't entirely reflect them as a player. Here this game I felt I performed badly, and to me it's important to show others that it's normal to have both good games and bad games, good days and bad days. That all being said, let's dive into the rest of this game and talk about why it went the way it did. Now aside from the obvious map change, the team comps of both teams also change. We opt to run ZF Charger and the opponent switches to Neo Splash instead of V Splash. On this map, I either like to open left or top mid. Usually I'll go top mid if the opponent doesn't have a form of AoE, in which this case they don't, so I go top mid. I see that my teammate is taking an early fight on the right, so I try to help them, but I make a big mistake here. I put myself in an angle where I can't see much, and I swim too forward. As a result, my teammates die, my feet gets painted, and I get run down. This is especially bad because Cooler has just come out from our side, and we're not able to hold and the enemy team are able to push fast. What I should have done in this scenario is either stay back and spam 70s for crossfire, or move to the right slightly to get a better angle. I take a risky jump in to try and get Cooler, and this is pretty dangerous. However, it works out because we're able to take a 2v1, but that jump was admittedly quite risky. I go top mid because I see Pencil and I'm able to take them out, and I back up because I'm weak. I use a burst bomb to cut off the Neo Splash's escape option, and I'm able to find the pick on them. I rotate right and look to apply pressure on the right side. I get zip and I see that Pencil's alone, so I try to zip and go for pen. However, they hit me just as I start caster, which changes the course of my caster. And I'll be honest, this is bullshit. That should have killed, but it happens. I jump in top mid because Cooler's just come out, and our team are able to find 2 picks. But I look to push forward. I need to be careful here because I know that 2 of the enemy team are going to come out of spawn soon. I'm able to find the pick on the Pencil. I rotate left and quickly trade back my teammate and help my charger deal with the Tetras. Now it's just the Pencil, in which I attempt to try and run down the Pencil to kill jumps. Here the idea is correct, but the execution is flawed. I should have realized that it was too late to go for the jumps, and as a result I end up going down, which is really bad. Thankfully my team were able to stabilize and get a pick. But I make another bad play. I try to take a wide angle, but the enemy team are expecting this, and I essentially feed. And even though I'm cooled, it's still not worth going for. What I should have done is played left and played pit. Retake is something I struggle with a lot on this map as it's one of my weaker map modes, and I'm working extensively to become better at it. Here I help pick up the Forge, but I didn't need to drop, and as a result the Pencil finds 2. This was a really unnecessary jump. I started panicking because of the low penalty that they had, and the Forge accidentally killed my jump whilst trying to shoot Charger. Again, due to low penalty I jump in due to panic, and I'm not able to get the kill on the Tetra, and that's pretty much game. The reason why I struggled so much with that game is because of the way that I approached retake. On this map I need to wait heavily for my team's specials, and I need to put myself in positions where I can be more impactful. For example, playing Legend Pit, where it's difficult for them to fight me. However, instead I would often either drop right or put myself in Pencil's sightline. As a result, we got staggered, and that's why we lost the game. And with that, that's how I fought Chase247 and Loxyay. Before I wrap up the video, I want to say a few things. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Devil and Sig. I was having issues recording these gameplays due to net issues, and they recorded the games for me and sent them over, so this video really wouldn't have been possible without them. As mentioned earlier in the video, my friends who I played with are linked in the description. They're all really talented and good people, and I hope to play more with them in future. I've also linked Loxyay's socials down below as well. This was a really fun scrim, and a big part of that was them being challenging opponents to practice against. Finally, like I mentioned, I don't know whether I'll continue creating content, but if you want to see more content from me, drop a like, sub, and comment potentially with the kind of content or changes to content you'd like to see, as well as suggestions. And even if I don't commit to content creation full time, I do my best to stream my gameplay over on my Twitch, link below, so feel free to drop a follow there. Join the Discord, also linked to keep updated when I go live, or my Twitter and Blue Sky, and I want to thank everyone who got this far for watching. I hope you enjoyed and stay safe out there.